Okay, I want to finish up and show you just a little bit more about a complex edit, meaning one that uses another edit within itself to build up more and more complex things. And I think it's going to be easier rather than having me design them out of my head at the top, because I mess up edits all the time. It takes me a few minutes to look at them and find out what's wrong. And I'd rather just show you ones that I've either written already or that are already written by FilePro, given you as factory edits. Here's my global table, and it has all the factory provided edits at the top. You notice there's one for state. The state edit will say only accept, North Carolina, South Carolina, Utah, only accept these. You see they're all in pipes, except this or this or this. Very standard, simple edit, but it's only taking some very literal things. If you notice down at the bottom, there's the first state edit, and it says state. And what it basically has is the first operator. We said that a tilde makes everything capital. So whatever they put in, lowercase or capital, this tilde is going to make it go uppercase. It takes an AL, or it'll take an AK, or it'll take whatever. That you put in here. At the very end of the line, you'll notice it points to state 2. State 2 is this next edit. State 2 is the same deal. Tilde across, and it takes GA, GU, all these things that are apparently allowed as states. H, I, ID, some of these I don't even recognize, Hawaii, or some of them Illinois, Indiana, but a couple of them I don't. Maybe GU is Guam, I don't know, but I have it in here for some reason. And at the end of that line is the state 3, which points to this. See how it's just constantly building up? This one goes to state 4, and then state 5, and this finally points to state 6. And now we have 6 edits all producing one state. Now look at state 6 though. State 5 is more of the same, and it points to state 6. State 6, all in itself, has something, PROV, which is either above or below us. Let's go to the next page. I don't see it right off the bat, but there is a PROV for province somewhere. And province are Canadian provinces. It's just saying allow, just use that if you use it. Actually, state 6 must be somewhere. Okay, HT is something from another edit. Since I can't see that one immediately, I'm going to move on. Let's say I look at the check edit. This is an interesting one. I wrote this edit a long time ago, and then someone else wrote it, and someone else wrote it, and I don't even know who the first person was to write it. I may have copied it off of someone else. This may not even be my version of it. I don't know if it is or not. But it talks about, it's including a 0, something accepts zeros, HT for hundreds, TTs for tens, thou for thousands. And what this edit does, let's test it for, I can't put a T there. I want to break out of that. Okay, delete it. Now I press T. I'll test the check edit. Let's test it for 95 characters. Okay, and let's put in this edit 10,900. Let's put $19,947.27. Let's say that's the number we put in this edit. When we hit enter, FilePro magically changes that to what would print on a check for you, all spelled out nice and neatly. I can tell this is not my edit because my check edit, I capitalize all those numbers, 9 and 19 and so forth. But you notice now if I hit enter, this fails because this is not the check edit. Once you perform an edit, you may end up with something that won't pass the edit the next time. This edit is supposed to work on numbers. It'll work on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and turn it into what it's supposed to do. But if I hit enter, it will not work on it. It's not meant to work on this type of an edit. Once you get what you want out of an edit, that's it. You stick it in a dummy field or you have it apply to a real field and that's it. But the check edit, again, is a very complex edit that applies to a lot of different let's go to the next page. You can see it. The check edit relies rather on a lot of different things. 100,000s, 100,000 ones, TTs, thousands, whatever these are, all the way down to cents and zeros, and what to do in every possible case with every possible number it might see. Here's an edit that deals with Roman numerals. It'll change things into Roman numerals and so forth. And there are all different kinds of edits. Just take my word for it. One that I really like that I sort of played around a lot with is paraneg. Paraneg is was very important to me to get that working right when I wrote the general ledger for Nexus. When I wrote a general ledger for Nexus, it takes any negative number, and instead of showing it as a negative number, surrounds it with parentheses, something you might see on a general ledger all the time. There's lots of edits. So the last one, let me show you the last group that I copied this out of an old system and I put it in here. This removes spaces. If you notice this RM space thing, this actually, let's see if we can figure this out. It says take a space, throw it away, allow as many as you want of them, and they don't have to be there. So this is a good little complex little edit of its own, and it wouldn't even work on its own if you tried it on its own. I don't think this edit. Let me see. If I do the F10, if I escape, do test, I do RM, that's PC. Test it for, say, 15 spaces, and I put a space. Well, of course it works. You can't test something that you add a space, an enter will always solve every edit. But let's try this. SSSS space SSSS. This is not going to pass because I'm not allowing for that. I'm just saying take out the spaces of anything you hand to it, but don't. It's not saying allow any other character. Okay, so how, by the way, do you allow a bunch of characters? Let me just show you. If I have this N here, this N is comprised of well, it's a numeral 0-9. That's a range. It'll take any number, 0 through 9. Any one number, 0 through 9. This A will take any letter, A through Z. Any letters, A through Z, okay? Now, do other edits use these simple number and alpha edits? Yes, you'll see them all over the place. And you might see something like single N's being allowed. Let's see, like down here. Okay. In the state, not the state 5 edit, down, I saw it 2 seconds ago. Let me just jump to another page. Find one that I mean. Okay, up at the top here. HT1 allows a single N, another single N, another single N, and so forth. There are edits that would, and since I can't find one quickly, I'll just show you one. You could make an edit, called anything that you want, and have it say, take this. That means take any number of numbers, any number of single numbers. And this one means take any number of single characters. Okay? Very simple stuff that when you put it all together, you can do really complex, neat things. Like, for instance, this edit from a long time ago removes spaces, as I was telling you. Okay, that one removes spaces. This one I called no punctuation. And I made it no punctuation 1, and I started throwing away every period inside a string of letters. And there's a pipe, and I throw away every comma. And then a pipe, and I throw away every dash, and so forth. I typed in every punctuation I could think of. I went to NP2 on the end of the line. And then I typed in every punctuation I could think of here. And then I typed in MP3. I didn't put these MP2s yet. It's not pointing to anything else. I'm just building little parts of a bigger edit. And at the very end, where I have, here's an N the, which I showed you earlier. This just says take the letters, if it comes at the beginning of a line, take THE space and throw it away. Get rid of it. Then at the very end, I built this one edit called code. Code says capitalize anything in here, and here's a squiggly bracket, and here's one at the very end. So it's inside squiggly brackets, so it means allow any number of what you find in between. And what do you find in between? You find something that takes out the word the, removes all the spaces, and removes every bit of punctuation. And once it's all done doing all of that, it will allow, if all that's all okay, it's going to allow any alpha characters or any numeric characters. Okay? Let's test this just to show you what it does. If I test it and I say test the code edit for, say, 25 characters, let's put in the Valar group. Okay, see what it did? It took out the word the, and it crunched the rest of the word Valar group together because it doesn't have any, there are no spaces in it anymore. Very kind of neat thing. Let me type in the word, like McDonald's. Okay, what do you think this is going to do? I'm going to hit enter. Switched it to McDonald's with no space and no apostrophe. Very useful kind of thing to do if you're trying to build up a code. Let's say you're trying to build up a customer code out of customer names that are strange. You want to take out all the strange characters so that when you end up with a reasonable customer, let's say you have a customer called, well, it just doesn't matter. You could call anything you want. You can put anything you want in here. United Airlines CO period. You don't want to see the period. You want to smash it all together into that. Very useful stuff to be able to do this kind of thing with edits. Again, I wish I could show you all the different things you can do with an edit, but like I said, I would say one more time, there's only 3 pages of help on what edits are and how to use them. Excuse me, these 3. This one, this one, this one, and this last tiny thing on this page is just a little bit about the syntax for what you're doing. So with this stuff, with these 3 pages, you can learn how to make edits and make them do amazing things.